Have you noticed something strange? More people today earn what used to be considered a good salary, and yet very few feel financially free. Not rich, not even comfortable long term, just constantly managing. Bills get paid, life looks fine from the outside, but underneath there's a quiet tension, a feeling that one missed paycheck could change everything. Let's talk about why that happens. Imagine a fairly common situation. A young professional in the United States or Europe, late 20s or early 30s, college degree, stable job, earning around $70,000 a year in the US or $55,000 in Europe. On paper, that sounds solid, but after taxes, that income becomes something closer to $4,000 a month in take-home pay. Now the real math begins. Rent or a mortgage takes about $1,500. A car payment and insurance take another $600. Student loans, $300. Groceries, utilities, phone, internet, around $500. Credit card payments or subscriptions add another $300. Before savings, before investing, before anything unexpected. Just like that, most of the good salary is already gone. And nothing here looks irresponsible. There's no luxury spending, no reckless behavior, just normal life. This is where the real issue hides. The problem isn't that people don't earn enough. It's that modern life quietly scales faster than income does. Every increase in salary comes with an invisible expectation, a slightly better apartment, a safer car, more convenience, more comfort. Not because people are careless, but because this is what stability is supposed to look like now. The system nudges you forward before you've built any foundation. Car loans make monthly payments feel manageable, not expensive. Credit cards separate spending from consequence. Student loans delay the feeling of cost for years. Everything is designed to feel affordable now, while quietly committing your future income. And psychologically, this matters. When money flows in and out smoothly, the brain reads it as success. If bills are paid and life feels comfortable, it feels like progress. But financial freedom doesn't come from smooth cash flow. It comes from unused income. Income that doesn't already belong to someone else. Here's the mistake most people never notice. They judge their financial health by lifestyle stability, not by ownership of time and income. A good salary becomes a tool to support a higher baseline instead of a tool to buy future freedom. Over time, this creates a trap. Raises don't change direction, they just raise the ceiling of spending. And slowly, the idea of freedom moves further away, not closer. If this continues for 10 or 20 years, the cost is subtle but heavy. You stay dependent on work. You delay investing meaningfully. You feel pressure to maintain income instead of grow assets. And risk becomes scarier, not easier. Not because you failed, but because the structure never allowed space. Financially intelligent people don't necessarily earn more. They simply protect the gap between income and lifestyle. They don't ask, can I afford this monthly? They ask, what future does this payment commit me to? They understand that freedom isn't created by earning well, it's created by resisting the automatic upgrade. Not dramatically, not painfully, just intentionally. This isn't about cutting joy or living small. It's about choosing which parts of life deserve permanent claims on your income. A good salary can still lead to financial freedom, but only if it's treated as a tool, not a reward. If this perspective made you think a little differently, consider subscribing for more calm, realistic discussions about money and modern life. One of the most misunderstood ideas about money is that financial freedom is something you arrive at after earning enough. In reality, most people pass right by it without noticing. Because freedom doesn't announce itself with a higher paycheck, it shows up quietly as optionality. The ability to say no, the ability to slow down, the ability to handle a surprise without panic. But those abilities only exist when part of your income is untouched. Here's where psychology works against us. Humans are wired to normalize improvement quickly. What once felt like a luxury becomes the new minimum within months. A nicer apartment stops feeling special. The car becomes just transportation. Subscriptions fade into the background. So even when income increases, satisfaction barely moves. This creates a dangerous illusion. I'm earning more, so I must be progressing. But mathematically, nothing has changed. If 90% of your income is already committed, you are still dependent, just at a higher level. This is why so many professionals feel stuck despite doing everything right. They followed the rules, they studied, they worked hard, they avoided obvious mistakes. Yet freedom feels distant. Because the rules were designed for stability, not independence. The modern financial system rewards predictability, steady income, regular payments, long-term commitments, and it quietly discourages flexibility. This doesn't mean the system is evil, it means it has incentives, and those incentives aren't aligned with personal freedom. Understanding this is the shift. Not panic, not rebellion, just awareness. Once you see that a good salary is only powerful before it's assigned, you start thinking differently. Not in extremes, not with deprivation, but with clarity. You stop asking, what can I upgrade next? And start asking, what do I want my income to stop needing to do in the future? That single question changes everything. Because financial freedom isn't about escaping work, it's about removing urgency. And urgency disappears only when your lifestyle no longer consumes your future. That's the quiet reason why a good salary alone isn't enough anymore. When you look closely, the issue isn't income at all, it's timing. Most people use their best earning years to lock themselves into long-term obligations instead of building leverage for later. In your 20s and early 30s, income is usually the lowest it will ever be, but financial commitments are often the longest. 30-year mortgages, 5-year car loans, recurring lifestyle costs that don't easily shrink. So when income finally rises, the money isn't free to work for you. It's already been promised. This creates a strange outcome. Someone earning $70,000 with few commitments often has more freedom than someone earning $120,000 with heavy ones. Not because they're smarter, because their income still has room to move. Another psychological trap appears here. People confuse comfort with security. Comfort is having things run smoothly today. Security is knowing you can handle disruption tomorrow. A good salary buys comfort easily. Security requires restraint. And restraint feels unnatural in a culture built around visible success. In the US and Europe, success is rarely measured by balance sheets. It's measured by signals. Where you live, what you drive, how settled you appear. These signals quietly pressure people into spending before they're ready, not to impress others, but to reassure themselves that they're on track. Over time, this creates anxiety, not because life is bad, but because everything depends on continuation. The job must continue. The income must continue. Nothing can go wrong. That's not freedom. That's fragility. Financially aware people think in terms of resilience, not appearance. They design lives that can absorb shocks, lives where income increases create space, not stress. They understand that wealth isn't loud, it's flexible. It shows up as fewer obligations, not more. And this is the uncomfortable truth most people avoid. A good salary only creates freedom if it reduces dependence over time. If it increases dependence, it does the opposite.
That's why so many capable, intelligent earners feel trapped, not because they failed, but because no one taught them this distinction early enough. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Not to judge yourself, not to panic, just to move forward with awareness.